Every single person watching this video who's receiving Social Security or planning to receive it is going to take a benefit cut. Not a small one. 23%. Across the board. Every check. Every retiree. Every widow. Every disabled American. And here's the part that should make you furious. That's not me saying it. That's the Social Security Administration's own Trustees Report. It's in the congressional record. It's been forecast publicly year after year for over a decade. The numbers are public. The math is settled. You have about 81 more Social Security checks coming at your current amount. And then the 82nd check. That one is getting cut by 23%. Why is this happening? Because politicians from both parties have done nothing about it for over 40 years. They've known, they've held hearings, they've commissioned reports, they've made speeches, and they've done nothing. Not because they can't fix it, because they don't want to fix it. And in the meantime, they keep telling you the same handful of comfortable lies to keep you quiet until the cut actually hits. Yeah, let that sit for a second. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly when the cut is coming and how it works. I'm going to expose the 7 biggest lies politicians use to convince you that Social Security can't be saved. And near the end, I'll show you the one solution that fixes the entire problem. A solution they almost never mention, because the people it would inconvenience also happen to be the people who fund their campaigns. Hit subscribe right now if you're over 60. This is exactly why this channel exists. All right, let's get into it. So let's start with the actual numbers, because this is one of those topics where the truth is more powerful than any outrage. Social Security is funded by a dedicated payroll tax. Every working American pays 6.2% of their wages into the system. Their employer matches it. Self-employed people pay both halves themselves. That money flows into 2 trust funds, the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Fund and the Disability Insurance Fund. Combined, those funds had a balance of about $2.6 trillion at the end of 2023. That's trillion, with a T. Now here's what's happening. For decades, more money was coming in from payroll taxes than was going out in benefits. The surplus piled up in the trust fund and earned interest. But starting around 2021, more is going out than coming in. Last year, roughly $1.2 trillion came in from payroll taxes. About $1.3 trillion went out in benefits. That's a $100 billion gap. And to cover the gap, Social Security started drawing down the trust fund. The Trustees Report projects that the combined trust fund will be exhausted in the early 2030s. The latest estimates from the Congressional Budget Office and the Social Security trustees put the date somewhere between 2032 and 2034. And here's where the 23% number comes from. The day the trust fund runs out, Social Security doesn't disappear. The payroll taxes keep flowing in. The money currently being collected from working Americans will still be enough to pay roughly 77% of scheduled benefits. The other 23%, the part that was being topped up from the trust fund, that's gone. Unless Congress acts, which they haven't, for 40 years. So that's the real situation. Now let me walk you through the 7 lies politicians tell you to keep you quiet about this. Because every time you hear one of these, it's designed to make you give up on demanding a fix. Lie number 1. Social Security is going bankrupt. This is the most common lie, and it's flat wrong. Social Security is not going bankrupt. It cannot legally borrow money. It cannot run out as long as Americans are working and paying payroll taxes. What's happening is the trust fund, the surplus reserve, is going to run dry. After that, benefits get reduced to whatever current payroll taxes can cover. About 77% of what was promised. That's not bankruptcy, that's underfunding. And underfunding has a fix. Bankruptcy doesn't. The reason politicians push the bankruptcy framing is because it makes you feel hopeless. If the system is doomed anyway, why fight to save it? That's the point of the lie. Lie number 2. Congress raided the trust fund. The money is gone. You've heard this one 1,000 times. It's also wrong. The trust fund money was invested in special U.S. Treasury bonds, the same bonds that fund the federal government, the same bonds held by countries all over the world as the safest investment on the planet. The money is accounted for. It earns interest. It's on the official books. When the Treasury borrows from the Social Security Trust Fund, it pays interest back to the fund, just like any other bondholder. The $2.6 trillion in the trust fund is real money owed to Social Security by the U.S. government. If those bonds were worthless, the entire global economy would collapse. They're not worthless. They're as good as any financial instrument exists. Lie number 3. Undocumented immigrants are draining Social Security. This is one of the most dishonest claims politicians make because the data shows the opposite. People without legal status cannot legally collect Social Security retirement, disability, spousal, or survivor benefits. The Social Security Administration runs every claim through the SAVE program, Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements, which checks with the Department of Homeland Security. If you can't prove legal status, you don't get benefits, period. What's actually happening, and this is documented, is that some undocumented workers pay into Social Security using invalid or borrowed numbers. They contribute roughly $12 to $15 billion into the system every year. They never collect a penny of it back. That money helps keep Social Security solvent. The opposite of draining the system. This lie gets repeated because it shifts the blame for the funding gap onto a politically convenient group, instead of onto the politicians who refuse to fix the actual problem. Lie number 4. Young people will get nothing anyway. This is intergenerational warfare, and it's been used since 1935. Every generation has been told the system won't be there for them. Boomers were told it in the 70s. Gen X was told it in the 90s. Millennials are told it now. Gen Z is being told it today. It's a tactic. The goal is to divide retirees from working-age Americans so they don't unite to demand a fix. Because if everyone agreed the system needs to be saved, the political pressure to actually fix it would be overwhelming. As long as the generations are pointed at each other, nothing happens. The truth is, young people will absolutely receive Social Security. The question is whether they receive 100% of what's promised or 77%. That depends entirely on whether Congress acts in the next decade. Lie number 5. Social Security is driving the national debt. By federal law, Social Security cannot contribute to the national debt. It cannot borrow. It's funded entirely by its own dedicated payroll tax, with surpluses going into the trust fund and shortfalls coming out of it. The national debt, currently around $36 trillion, has zero connection to Social Security's funding gap. Politicians who tell you Social Security is bankrupting the country are either lying or don't understand their own budget. Either way, they shouldn't be making decisions about your retirement. Lie number 6. Social Security is just welfare. This one is designed to make people resent their own benefits. The truth is, Social Security retirement and disability benefits are an earned insurance program. You pay in over your working life. You earn credits. The benefit you receive is calculated using your highest 35 years of earnings. There is one program that is welfare-based, Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. That's a separate program administered by the SSA for low-income, low-resource seniors and disabled Americans. SSI is means-tested. It's funded out of general revenue, not the trust fund. People often confuse SSI with regular Social Security. They're different programs with different rules. Calling Social Security welfare is designed to weaken political support for it. Once people stop seeing it as something they earned, it becomes easier to cut. Lie number 7. The only way to save it is to cut benefits or raise the retirement age. This is the lie that does the most damage because it's framed as the responsible adult conversation. We don't want to cut benefits, but we have to. We don't want to raise the retirement age, but math is math. It sounds reasonable. It's not reasonable. It's a choice. There are multiple ways to close the Social Security funding gap. Raising the retirement age is one option, and it disproportionately hurts manual labor workers, lower-income Americans, and people with shorter life expectancies. Cutting benefits is another option, and it hurts the people who can least afford it. But here's the option politicians almost never lead with. It's called raising the cap, and it's the solution that fixes most of the problem without cutting a single benefit. Here's how the cap works. In 2026, the maximum amount of income subject to Social Security payroll tax is around $176,000. Anything you earn above that, every dollar, is exempt from Social Security tax. So somebody earning $50,000 a year pays Social Security tax on every single dollar they earn. 365 days a year. The effective rate is the full 6.2%. Somebody earning $5 million a year pays Social Security tax only on the first $176,000. After that, exempt. Their effective Social Security tax rate is less than 1%. They stop paying into the system in early February. The rest of the year they pay nothing. Raising or eliminating that cap, so high earners pay the same percentage on every dollar they earn that everyone else pays, would solve roughly 60 to 80% of the funding shortfall, depending on exactly how it's structured. According to the SSA's Office of the Chief Actuary, eliminating the cap entirely would extend trust fund solvency by decades without reducing a single benefit. That's not radical. That's not socialism. That's asking high earners to pay the same payroll tax percentage on all their wages that a teacher, a mechanic, or a retail worker already pays. So why don't politicians talk about it? Because the people who would pay more under that fix also happen to be the people who fund their campaigns, from both parties. That's not a partisan critique. That's just the math of campaign finance. Now I want to be clear about something. I'm not telling you which fix is the right one. There are multiple possible reforms: raising the cap, adjusting benefits for higher earners, gradually shifting the calculation, modernizing the COLA formula. Reasonable people can disagree on the best mix. But what's not reasonable is telling Americans that the only options are cut benefits or raise the retirement age, when at least 4 other solutions exist, and politicians refuse to put them on the table. That's the lie at the center of everything. The system isn't dying. The system is being neglected, on purpose. Here's what I want you to do this week. 3 steps. Step 1. Verify the numbers yourself. Go to ssa.gov and search Trustees Report. The full document is public. Look at the projections. Look at the funding gap. Look at the projected trust fund exhaustion date. Don't take my word for it. Don't take any politician's word for it. Read the actual report. Step 2. When a politician, any politician from any party, tells you Social Security is going bankrupt, or that immigrants are draining it, or that young people will get nothing anyway, or that the only fix is cutting benefits, push back. Ask them about the cap. Ask them why they haven't introduced legislation to fix the funding gap. Ask them what their specific plan is. Vague answers mean they don't have one. Step 3. Share this video with someone you know who's nearing retirement. The 23% cut isn't going to hit 40 years from now. It's going to hit in the early 2030s. That's 7, 8, 9 years away. The conversation about saving Social Security has to happen this decade, or it doesn't happen at all. Look, I'm going to be straight with you. The system that millions of Americans paid into for their entire working lives is being allowed to underfund itself in slow motion. Not because the problem is impossible to solve, but because solving it requires politicians to do something they don't want to do. Tell the truth. That's the whole point of this channel. Not outrage, not politics. Just the facts in plain English, so you can hold your representatives accountable for once. If this video helped you understand what's actually happening, hit the like button so YouTube shows it to more people who need to see it. Subscribe so you don't miss the next update. And share this with one person you know, a spouse, a friend, a grown child, who deserves to know the truth before the cut hits. In the next video, I'm walking through the actual SSA Trustees Report, page by page, projection by projection, so you can verify every number for yourself. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next one.